Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carla. I'm in Australia, Melbourne, and today I'm going to show you something a little bit different. I'm going to show you how you can create a lining for your crochet work. So some crochet stitches are quite tall and wide apart, so you will have you'll be able to see through your garment. And I'm going to show you as an example my very own design called the Primavera Crochet top, which means spring in Spanish, and it's currently under pattern testing. And I'll show you how it looks like. It's gorgeous. It's got some beautiful crochet stitches. You've got the 3 double crochet clusters, the V-stitch, crisscross stitch, and it gives it a beautiful texture and a lace effect. Now, I made a couple of versions of this top while I was designing it. Some I've left as with no lining, and I'm going to wear a slip on it, so that should be okay. So there's a black version of it, which I'm also going to leave it as without lining. I'm going to wear a slip on it. It's going to be a dress. At the moment it's in the peplum skirt stage, and I'm just going to keep growing it. So you can definitely do that. So if your crochet garment's a little bit see-through, you can always wear a slip on it. That's fine. But sometimes it's handy to create a lining for it. Now, the Primavera top is a bit of an unusual construction in that you begin with 3 triangular panels. This one's going to be a really fun Latin American feel to it. It's got some beautiful colors to it. It's blocked already. So what's going to happen is I'm going to put the 3 panels together and form a trapeze shape that forms the basis of my top. Now, at this stage, I think it's a great idea to add a lining because it is quite see-through. So that also gives you more versatility. You don't have to worry about slips, and you can wear it more often, because this one I want to wear during summer and, you know, as a casual top. So definitely you don't want to worry about slips and everything like that. So let's talk about how to get started. Well, firstly, you need materials. So at the moment we're in lockdown, we're stage 4 lockdown, so a lot of the haberdashery stores are closed, as well as craft stores. So it's a little bit harder to go ahead and buy materials. So I've been doing some spring cleaning in my wardrobe and found some pieces that I think need to either a little bit of a revamp, a freshen up, or to donate to charity. So I came across this lovely dress. It's made in denim. It's a denim cotton dress, and I like the ruffle effect, and the edging is gorgeous. It's just a little bit big for me. So I was about to donate this, but I thought the material is fantastic. So why not use this material to create a lining? And I think that the blue will look really cool in the background. So I'm going to create a lining using this lovely cotton. And I'm going to try to save as much of the materials as possible because the edging is beautiful. This could be something different as well. And the ruffle top could also be a top on itself. So this little podcast is about lots of little things, creating something completely new from your ready made items, so an art cycle, and as well as creating lining for your crochet work. So what do we need? You need a little bit, you do need a sewing machine for this project. You don't need is basic sewing skills, so don't stress if you are not a seamstress. A measuring tape, which I'm wearing around my neck, some pins, and some really good set of sewing needles. Sewing scissors, sorry. All right, guys, let's get creative and get started. The first thing I want to do is prepare my fabric. So what I'm going to do is, I think the easiest way is to cut along one of the side seams of the dress right to the very top. Now, scissors that are very sharp are so important for sewing, or it's going to end up all jagged right to the top. Now, I might also want to save some of the neck line as well. So now what I'm going to do is then go across and cut the remainder. Just to save that ruffle, will save me from sewing it up afterwards if I want to make something else afterwards. you're ready to go, I have created a little pattern out of newspaper, taking into account the measurements of my triangle. So I measured the width of my triangle, which is 39 centimeters from the top, or 15.4 inches. And I also measured from top of the triangle to right to the peak, which is 33 centimeters. And because my triangle is not perfect, I also made sure I followed the curves. So because now your panel of crochet work could be square, which would be much easier for you. So again, you will do the same thing. You will take into account the measurements of your crochet work, and I want the actual lining to be a little bit smaller than a triangle because I want the edges of my crochet to be exposed so that I can join the panel straight onto the other two panels, which will be on the other side. So this might be a bit different for you, but I think that what I'm actually going to do, this triangle will be sewn straight onto my piece, just like that. So I'm going to sew all around it, and it will be attached. And I want to make sure that the crochet edging is exposed so I can continue crocheting around it. Does that make sense? So I'm going to create a small little hem on my material like that, all the way around, and that will be sewn onto my crochet work. I hope that all makes sense. Again, it all depends on the shape of your crochet work. Most likely it will be square or a rectangle, and you will cut it to size. And you could allow for a hemline, maybe 1 centimeter to allow a hem. I want it to be completely plush to my crochet work, so I'm not going to allow for 1 centimeter extra for an edge. I'm going to create one just like this. So I will sew onto it like that. Okay, so let's get cutting, guys. Okay guys, so I finished cutting the panels and I zigzagged around each of the panels to stop fraying. I've got one more panel to do before we do a tiny little hem. So it fits quite nicely with the crochet work, and then I can show you how I simply just sew on top of it. So the first thing to do, let's create that border. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I managed to cut some strips along the side of the dress that feature that beautiful embroidery that I was talking to you about. So I've cut 2 strips, and what I might do is connect it together and make a lovely waistband that you can tie at the back. So just an idea, we'll see how that works out. Let's get sewing. Okay, so we're finished. Now we're going to, well, I'm going to create a little edge around each panel. So if you have some bias tape, you can easily do that to fold over a little tiny hem. I don't have a lot of this left, and as I said, it's really hard to go to shop. So what I'm going to do is, using my iron, I'm just going to fold over just about this much all the way around to form a simple edge and hem to each panel. Okay, so let's get doing that first. Hi guys, and we're back. So I finished doing the sewing bit of each panel. I've created that border around with a zigzag so it doesn't stop fraying, and now I've pinned them to each of my panels, just like that. So with the wrong side facing, so the right side of your lining facing the wrong side of your crochet work, so that when you turn it around, the right side is facing you, just like that, if that makes sense. Okay, so I've done it for all 3 panels. They all have the lining at the end. Because it is an unusual triangular shape at the corners, sometimes I had to do a bit of a fold. But you know what, as long as it actually works as a lining, I think we're all good. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually sew the lining straight onto my crochet work. Let's see how that works. Okay guys, so I finished using my trusty sewing machine to create a lining for my crochet works, and I'll show you the final product. Yay, it's no longer see-through. So I have also been busy and have crocheted the 3 separate planners together by just simple single crochets along the edges. And I'll turn it around so you can see the lining. So the lining, I wanted to, as I mentioned before, I wanted the lining to sit within my crochet work so that you can still have the edges of the crochet exposed. So if you want to put them together with other panels, you can still do that. So the sewing skills are pretty basic. You could have neatened them up. You could add a double fold so you don't see the jagged zigzags. It's really up to you, but you can see that the sewing machine can definitely go through cotton. So this is 4-ply cotton, but I'm pretty sure I can still take 8-ply cotton as well. So the trick is when you are putting sewing, you put the fabric side up and sew on top so that your crochet work doesn't get stuck in the needle or the foot of the sewing machine. But yeah, so it goes through it. And I also wanted to show you, so if you look that way, I used a white cotton to do the sewing. And if you look at it, you can't really see the stitches very clearly. So I could have chosen a different cotton thread. I could have gone with a hot pink or with a blue or even a purple, but you can hardly see the stitches. If you hold it this way and you're wearing it, I don't think anyone's gonna really tell you're sewing stitches. It's actually quite discreet. So you could have matched it to your work, but it's not going to be that obvious, guys. So yeah, so I'm really happy with that. I still, as I said, I like how the edges are still exposed so you can continue to crochet. You could have at the end created a panel for the entire piece, but as I said, I like how there is the flexibility at the joint. So there is still a bit of a give at the joints, and that might not have been possible if I did the lining right to the edge. Well, I hope this has been helpful, guys. I'm going to continue and finish this top and stick around to the end of the video and you can see the final product. So yeah, so hopefully you too can create some lining for your crochet work. We'll catch you next time. Bye. Thank you.